Welcome to Biz Coach and Coffee, where our guests are experts, entrepreneurs, coaches, and consultants that share tips, strategies, and tactics to help small business entrepreneurs grow their business for long-term success. Please welcome your host, Biz Coach Steve Feld.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Biz Coach and Coffee. I'm your host, Biz Coach Steve Feld, and my goal is to stop business owners from suffering entrepreneurial depression and making running their businesses much easier. Business owners and entrepreneurs hire me to crack multiple 6 and even 7 figures without burning themselves out. Today, we have another great guest for you. We have Gabe O'Neill. Now, Gabe is the godfather of digital business cards. I am looking so forward to hearing about this. So welcome, Gabe.
Thank you so much, Steve. I'm really excited to be here.
Okay, first we gotta just confront that. Talk to us. What is a digital business card for those of our listeners who don't know what it is?
Okay, so you know how you're at a networking event and everybody's handing out their paper cards, and you go home and you end up with a bulging pocket full of them. You pull them out, you throw them on your desk, and eventually when the maid comes around, she throws them out as you instruct her to, so that the paper cards really don't have much of a purpose anymore for that reason. But the digital cards, however, is something that can stay on your phone, especially with ours. When you text the keyword to a number, that's one of the ways that you get it. So the card will land on your phone, and at the same time, the person who owns the digital card will capture that cell phone number. So that's something that's very powerful, and that keeps them connected. That keeps them where they're basically exchanging each other's information in that one transaction. So,
oh, very neat. How did you start this? How'd you get in it?
Well, this is something that I mean, I've been a software developer forever. I've developed packages for Sony, the DEA, and Panasonic in my day. And so it wasn't ever a point where I said, I've always wanted to go in the digital card business. And that never really came across my mind. But what I did was I moved to Atlanta, and and in doing so, it took me a while to, I knew nobody here. So you have to network to get to know people. This was before the pandemic. Everything was in person. So it takes like a year to get a good base of people that will refer you out. And so 3 years later, we had to move again. So we moved again to about an hour away, which meant I lost all my networking buddies. But I'm a software developer. I needed contract work. So what I thought, well, how can I expedite this process to get to know somebody? And I thought, well, what if I gave them something of value, something that I would ask for nothing in return? It would take me a few hours to work on it. We could work on it kind of together, which would break the ice. They'd get to see my skills, my creativity, my talent, and the fact that I do what I say I'm going to do, and then then that way that they'll be able to refer me out, and at the end they'll have something of value from me. So I thought, what could that be? I don't know, maybe a digital business card. So that was in 2018, I think. So I went to the local networking place, and I stood up and said, anybody want a free card? Let me know. And instead of that awkwardness at the end where everybody's chatting with each other and ignoring you, they're all lining up to get one. So it worked. And so I did that for about almost a year until I finally realized, I say, wait a minute, people are starting to buy these. Their friends are starting to buy them. Let me see if I can turn this into a business. So that was in September of 2019 that I started focusing on cards themselves. So yeah, and then so that was great. Then, that we started selling them pretty well. The following year, 2020, we had the pandemic, and then I thought I was dead. But there was one quote that I came across right at that time, and it said, you can't adjust the direction. You can't adjust the direction of the wind, but you can adjust your sails. And that really stuck with me. And so that's when I got online, and now I'm selling my cards all across the country. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Nice. Who are your primary target market, or who takes advantage of your offer?
Well, of course, speakers are great because when they can like I had Mark Victor Hansen, as you may or may not know, he's Chicken Soup for the Soul guy. He recently got a card, and when he was at a show, he was speaking and he just mentioned his keyword. His assistant called me and said, we got 438 cell phone numbers that we've downloaded in your software. She didn't know what to do with them all. But I mean, so if you can just say, like for me, it's Gabe to 321-421-5213. And if you can say that to a large audience and get a number of them to text that, those are all leads that come back. They're all cell phone numbers that come back into your system. So, yeah, it's very powerful. So speakers are good. Podcasters are good. Real estate brokers are good because we like to do it for sales teams, and sales managers are also good. But we have a number of different, a wide variety of users because these cards are, because they're done custom, they're designed to stand out and make you memorable, elevate your digital profile so that so that people will remember you, and it ends up getting you business. So there's quite it's but the speakers are the ones that I go with, and car dealerships or car dealerships, RV dealerships, anything that's trying to sell a high ticket item.
I got you. When people download the card, you said it's customizable. Can you give us an idea what's on that card for them?
Okay, so if you look at my card here, it's actually animated. The first few minutes, the first 30 seconds are animated, which is very different. And again, it's designed to attract attention. So it's and when the animation finishes, these are all sentences that people are going to read just because of the way they come across. And then when they finish, it kind of morphs into your regular card. When that happens, they have access to all your communication channels, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, your phone, your email. It has a video on there. You can go to put your schedule on there. You can download your information right to your phone contacts and trade email addresses, all kinds of stuff. So again, this is what my card looks like, but all the other cards, they all look different because we take their brand, their logo, their headshot, and I send it to my graphic artist and I say, do your magic. And she does something incredible using their colors. So we find that when somebody gets something that's uniquely theirs, that they celebrate it and they share it more, and they just get more value from it, and they end up getting more business from it.
Oh, excellent. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. It is definitely not your typical business card like many people are thinking right now. We're going to take a quick break from our sponsor, but we will be right back with Gabe.
This episode is sponsored by Spotlight Books. Get your expert book completed in 30 days. If you don't have an expert lead magnet book about you and how you serve your market, then visit www.spotlight-books.com. Link is also in the show notes. Put a spotlight on your expertise.
And we're back speaking with Gabe and digital business cards, which is amazing. For those of you who are watching this on YouTube and some other channels, you definitely want to check it out. For everyone listening on any of the podcasts, please go check it out on YouTube because you got to take a look at that digital card. So Gabe, I got to ask, since you started this business and it was very organic, what was one thing you kind of learned along the way, the hard way?
Well, I mean, I'm always learning. I mean, I think it's been that way since I've been, all my career. Of course, as a software developer, you always have to learn. Now we have to keep in touch with all the latest trends. But I think the thing that there were a couple of things that I learned. The first, when in the beginning, when I was just giving away the cards, I never thought anybody would buy them. I thought, well, nobody. Yeah, these are great. They love them, but they're not going to pay for them. And then the buddies of the realtors and mortgage people said, "Oh, hey, I want one too." So they gave me a little money for them, and I said, "Well, yeah, but nobody's going to pay me enough." And then after a while, I realized, I said, "Wait a minute, where are these barriers coming from? And they're coming from myself. And there's, these are self-imposed glass ceilings that I had. As soon as I moved them out, things just went crazy. Things just really took off. So that was one thing I learned. And the second thing was the pandemic. And I thought, just as we were doing great, we as a matter of fact, that week just before everything shut down, we had an incredible event. It was really positive and ready to work on that. And then all of a sudden things shut down. But when it was then when I learned that instead of feeling sorry for yourself and stuff like that, and in times of that, of those events, you have to expect those things to happen as an entrepreneur. Guess what? It's going to happen again. And even after the pandemic, something else is going to happen. So I learned there that if you're good at pivoting, and if you understand that this is going to happen, and if it's something is going against you, and you're not pivoting, then you're in trouble. So I think a good entrepreneur knows that, okay, this is happening. What do I do now? As opposed to, why does this keep happening to me? That kind of stuff.
Exactly. Well, working with hundreds and hundreds of business owners, I see it and hear it all the time, especially in 2020. A lot of businesses said they needed to change, but they just had that block, that mindset, and they just couldn't make those changes and pivot. And the companies that did, they had great years in 2020 and 2021.
Right. The
other companies they're gone.
Right.
Now, do you have an affiliate program as well?
I do. You have to be a card owner because it doesn't really work well. You say, okay, where's yours? Well, I don't have one. But for the card owners,
perfect sense, and you kind of nailed it, like a lot of people.
Right. So for the card owner, they can get as much as, depending on how well they do, they can get up to 30% of the price. So it's it's something that can, well, first of all, the way I look at the cards, the ROI that we've been getting from our clients, I mean, Craig got 1,200% in his first 3 days, and he's continuing to make the investment over and over and over again. So people get the ROI just from the card. But then if you're selling them too, it's really easy to sell them. All you have to, the person is going to look at it and say, hey, well, this is awesome. Where'd you get this? And you just point them to me. I actually close the deal, and then you get so you get the affiliate money. So it's kind of a no-brainer, but it's another great way to just make a little bit more money, and it's in a simple way where you're not diluting yourself. You already have a digital card for whatever your business is, and it's not like you're trying to sell Melaleuca or something like that on top of what you're trying to sell, if that makes sense.
Exactly. And you said the card captured the other person's email address.
It can. So when people text the keyword, when you text Gabe to 321-421-5213, you'll get my card, and I will get your cell phone number, and through the phone company, I'll get your name. I don't get your email then. However, I have a white paper on my card that if you want to get it, you have to put in your email address, and you get that, and then I get that email address back. So that's another option for the people if they want to be able to get the person's email address. So again, it's just something that we're just trying to make people become really memorable because of the quality of these cards. They're very high end, and they just make it's a first impression that people are going to see. And when they look at your card and they go, this happens to me all the time, they'll look at it and they'll look at me and they'll go, oh wow, this is something. And they will not forget me because of that. So it's pretty cool.
That's a great thing. You were also mentioning they could have your other contact information, websites, and everything else all on your digital business card.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how powerful is that?
Right. I mean, there's a lot of things out there that'll do that. Some of them have a tendency to want to give everything, like your entire Wikipedia, which I think is not the right way to go, because you're inundating them with stuff that people don't really need. Ours gives you a good amount of information, your schedule, your phone, your email, your website, your LinkedIn, etc. But we're more focused on on making that one impression on that person who looks at your card for, if you have the animation for the 30 seconds. That's the one thing. One of my clients said, hey, that's great. If I can get my prospects to look at my card for that much longer, then I've won. So if they're looking at that for 30 seconds and that's all your brand that's being impressed in their mind, how hard is it for you to put something on LinkedIn, Facebook, or anything and get anybody to look at it for 30 seconds? So it's something that it is very, very different. We're the only company that's doing things that like we're doing. We have a ton of different features that we offer. And because my goal is not to expand out this way so I can do websites and digital pay for clicks and all that. It's more to expand vertically to make the best digital business card out there and offer as many different features to it on it as possible. And that's and part of that's the community. Our card owners get together every week for what we call a power hour. It's kind of like an entrepreneur's think tank. And when that happens, they love doing business together, and they get together, and it's again, that part of it's really fun too, because nobody has an ego. They all have the card in common. It's really easy to get in touch with each other. All they have to, what's your keyword? Okay, that's fine. And so it's really kind of neat.
Very neat. And I know our guests like to give away something to our listeners. What is something you can give to our listeners to help them out in their business?
Well, actually, we're doing a free upgrade that I'm just working on getting I'm working on getting that rolled out, which should be done by like tomorrow or whatever. But so we're doing a free upgrade of our thing. If you go to my card, I do have a white paper that's free that you can download called the 10 ways that we can solve your marketing struggles. And as far as I know, that's it. I don't give a ton of stuff away for free anymore. but yeah, so that's something that and again, when I meet people, I'm not, I'm always trying to see how I can connect them to somebody or be of some value, whether or not they become a client. So it's not all about money. It's all about, I'm at the age where I'm doing what I want. I'm talking to people who I want to. I don't have a boss who gets on my nerves. And so it's just something that I'm at the point where I'm not necessarily looking for billions of dollars or anything like that, or mega yachts. I'm more interested in relationships with people, helping them and being of value to people. And that's where the card is really strong, because it's a lot of people getting a lot of value from it.
Great. We will have all the contact information in the show notes. So take Gabe up on his offer. Great. Gabe, any last words before we go?
Nope. I would just ask, if you're curious, just text the word Gabe to 321-421-5213, and you'll get my card. I will not pester you with a text back, and you can opt out at any time. But yeah, it's just something that's very different. And if you know somebody, a sales manager, speakers, anybody like that, just have them text it, and that usually gets the conversation started anyway. I appreciate that.
Great. Well, Gabe, thank you so much for talking to us about digital business cards in a unique manner and sharing your knowledge and experience. Just want to say to everyone out there, this is Biz Coach Steve Feld wishing you and your business much success.
We hope you enjoyed today's topic. If you'd like to discuss how you can apply these strategies in your business, let us know. This episode is sponsored by Spotlight Books. Get your own expert book written about you in 30 days. Set yourself apart from the competition. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Also, feel free to give us your comments. We look forward to hearing from you on Biz Coach and Coffee.